It was just any other day, heading to work, had a cushy job, in a nice camera shop in my city. Didn't think anything of it. My left leg just slowed down. It just started slowing down. I've always been quite a powerful mover, I'd say. I used to play rugby. For you Americans out there, that's football without the pads. Just saying. No beef. But yeah, I've always been at the front of the pack, leading my friends. You know, if we're walking in the group, I'm at the front, being like, "We're going this way." Big mover. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2". I think at the time I was about 125 kilograms, which is a lot, but I can get myself about. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't. I just wasn't able to. My left leg, as I say, it just stopped working. It just seemed to have a lack of power, a lack of like righteousness in my steps. Leading up to this point in time, I was going to the gym 4 times a week. I was eating healthily. And I was losing weight. I've always had struggles with weight. Been a big guy, played rugby. They encouraged me to eat more. I was always happy to. Um, and then yeah, my left leg just sort of kind of gave way. I could still walk, but I just couldn't walk as fast, and really struggled to run. And over the next couple of weeks after that, the power became less and less and less. I could hardly walk. I was limping. I was at the back of the pack. I was asking my friends to slow down so that I could keep up, which is for me is it wasn't who I wanted to be. Went to the doctors multiple times. I said, "Yo, I am still losing weight. I've stopped going to the gym. I'm still eating, and it's because of that I was no longer eating well, essentially." As soon as the doctors heard that, they were like, "Right, come in, blood tests." Did blood tests, nothing. Nothing came up. To my surprise, I was, adamant. I had the big C, or I had some sort of like motor neuron disorder. Always in the back of my head, I was like, could it be diabetes? I asked my doctor. They were like, "Well, we've done blood tests and there's nothing to suggest that it's diabetes." So I said, "Okay, fine, that's fine." Phoned up the doctor 2 weeks later and said, "Listen, I've lost nearly the best part of a stone in the last 2 weeks." The doctor said, "Come in, urine sample straight away." Now, don't get me wrong, I had the symptoms. I was waking up in the middle of the night, bursting for the toilet, really needing to pee. Um, everything I ate, I wasn't regulating what I was eating. I was depressed to a point because I wasn't able to move my body the way that I should be able to. Which, as I say, as a big guy or a big person, it's kind of, it felt disabling. And that then passed over up here, and that kind of it snowballed into um, more speculation, but it really did affect me up here. I felt like I couldn't protect my friends, I couldn't protect myself, couldn't protect my family. I was always the first person to, step in and stop a fight. Um, was always the first person to, defend people if need be. Um, so I just felt weak, and it was not a nice feeling at all. Not a nice feeling at all. So I went into the GP, did my urine sample, and my doctor, who's amazing by the way, big up the NHS always, big up. We are very lucky in this country to have the NHS. Um, a urine sample, she said, "You need to go to the hospital right away." I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, you need to go to the hospital now. Can someone take you there?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And she was like, "Why?" And she was like, You've got diabetes." And I was like, "What?" Like, I thought I didn't have diabetes. She said, "No, you definitely have diabetes." And I was like, "How can you tell?" And she was like, "Your urine is like super sweet, you know." It's not TMI, it is what it is. I went into hospital, they tested my blood sugars. I was at 47, which is huge. I don't know how it works in other countries, but for my sensor, or for my way of checking, to be in a safe place is between 4 and 9. So if you go under 4, you're hitting a hypoglycemic episode. Which, if you don't know what that is, we will definitely get into that at some point in a different video. Quite a serious health concern if that happens. So as I say, your safe space is 4 and 9. I was at 47, so it was pretty drastic. I got put into hospital. I had double IV drip. One side was insulin because my body was like, "Nah, we have no longer accepting insulin into our midst these days." Pancreas is like, pancreas produces the insulin cell. Other side was water because I was so dehydrated to the point they were worried that I was going to, faint and pass out and things like that. Thankfully, I took it all in my stride. I was in the hospital for a couple of days to make they made sure that I was, safe, um, and not going to die because my blood had turned acidic, and there was that much sugar in my blood that my blood turned acidic, which is not ideal. There's a name for it. I can't remember off the top of my head. So this all happened just over a year ago. That's the thing. Um, Growing up, like any person, we develop habits. We develop, routines. We develop eating habits. We develop lifestyle habits. And none of my lifestyle, nothing at all was, let's just put it in a way that makes sense. Not my lifestyle was not designed for someone who has diabetes, particularly type 1. I'm pretty sure type 1 is supposed to be genetics. It's supposed to be like hereditary. So I should have already known it from the get-go, from life, from the, an early age that I had diabetes, but it just never came up. No tests were ever done, no symptoms. But now looking back at some instances in my life, I could definitely say, well, that's because I had high blood sugar, or that's because I had low blood sugar. Thankfully, I didn't die. And because I had such a sweet tooth, like my blood sugar must have always been super duper high. So I'm not really looking forward to like the later on in life because I know that's going to cause me a lot of problems. It probably has already caused me a lot of problems. But I mean, I can't. I'm in it now. I can't really do much about it apart from try and regulate it and manage it the best way possible. Um, so over the past year, it's been a real struggle. I had to leave my nice job, completely change my eating habits. Which, you know what, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Less carbohydrates, but yeah. So I had to get different jobs. I had to, rely on other different people. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people do, though. Thankfully, there's a lot of people out there who are very understanding and have the patience for it. At the time, I was lucky enough to have people around me who did care. Um, so I was very thankful for that. And I do have people around me now that still do care, which again, very thankful for. And I don't think I would be the same person without them at the moment. It's a struggle though. It's a real struggle, and I'm not just saying that like to, get your sympathy or pity or whatever. Like and subscribe. um, it's a radical change in an entire lifestyle. Like, and the best way I can put it is, I just had to change every single part of my life. I have to now try and eat at the same time every day, to inject insulin every time at the same time every single day. And I'm not the most organized person as is. Like, I'm quite unorganized. Like, I'm very creative, and I have a lot of passion. I'm passionate about what I do, and I get caught up in the heat of the moment, and I'm quite spontaneous. And all these things do not work with diabetes at all. So it's going to be a long journey. Late onset adult diabetes type 1. Correct me if I'm wrong in saying that. I think it's ladder. Unexpected, unpleasant, but there has been some good. There has been some good from it. It's made me realize how important my health is, which I don't think I really did think about beforehand, because I was like, oh, just in my 30s, I'll be fine. I can, drink, smoke, and do what I want, and But as I say, I was exercising. I was trying to be healthy. Um, but thankfully, the power came back in my legs, so I'm back at it. Recently, just ran 100 kilometers for diabetes charity in the UK. Raised about £300. I'm going to continue to do these things because the treatment that I received when I needed it most was life saving. Say that, life saving. Um, some people aren't as lucky as I to be able to get that treatment. So if there's anything that I can do to help others in a similar situation to me, or any sort of situation where people need help and they can't receive it, then who the hell am I to turn my nose up and go, I'm not getting involved in that. I want to put my best foot forward. Going from somewhere where I could hardly walk, I couldn't run, I couldn't do anything, I was disabled, to being able to, run. I'd never ran before. To run 100 kilometers for charity for other people that I don't even know. That's where I want to be. And with this channel that I'm trying to set up at the moment, I really want to raise the awareness of not just type 1, type 2 diabetes, but particularly like health matters. I imagine a lot of you out there are going, young and free, nothing bad could happen. Believe me, I was in that same mindset. I know I was maybe a bit older than you, or maybe a bit younger than you, or whatever age you are. I was in that complete mindset, being like, it's not going to happen to me. But here I am, sensor, sensor in my arm. Show you that a wee bit. Sensor in my arm. Hang on, there you go. And I'm still holding my head up high. Good things have come. I needed a bit of routine. I needed a kick up my arse. But I never thought it would be diabetes. And honestly, I never thought I'd be making this video about this. But yeah, here I am. It's as I say, it's been a long journey. It's going to be an even longer one. Um, so yeah, that's my diabetes origin story. Left leg stopped working. Body was essentially in ketosis for 2 months. Ketosis is when your body, your body uses fat instead of sugar for energy. My body was unable to break. My body was not allowing itself to break the sugar down for energy, so I ate all the fat off my body, and then my muscles were next, particularly my left leg. My left leg stopped working because my muscles were getting eaten for fuel. I'll leave you on that note. Thanks for watching. Again, please, I'm not begging, but if you fancy it, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. If you know someone that suffers from type 1 diabetes or type 2, or you do yourself, pop in the conversation, say hello, because I want to meet more people like me. And it's quite interesting that, because it doesn't matter what, you know, color, race, creed, whatever you adhere to in various different bits of life, everyone, there's always going to be someone that suffers, and that's something that can bring us together. And it's important in these trying times to bring people together. Thank you for watching.